So I almost didn't record this today, and not because I don't have anything to say, but because my brain showed up with a whole list of excuses today. I wanted to record differently. I wanted to be in a different spot. I don't really like my hair color right now. I need to get that fixed. There was just a whole list of things about why I didn't want to show up today. And I tried to talk myself into just doing audio and putting it on my podcast channel and letting it go at that. But the funny thing is, this episode is literally going to be about why I'm done with that kind of nonsense, about letting my brain talk me out of things, about caving to these stupid little excuses. So today I just want to talk about why I changed the name of this channel to 100 pounds down and what's actually going to be different about the weight loss journey that I'm going to be sharing, and ironically why doing this thing imperfectly might be the best place to start. So it is not lost on me that I had all these things come up as I'm preparing to record this episode. And so I changed the name to 100 pounds down because that is the journey I'm going to be on in 2026 and maybe beyond. We will see how it goes. A little backstory. I have I've been overweight for most of my adult life, and it seems like the weight just keeps creeping up. And every year I am kind of like everybody else. I make the same resolutions, I guess. I don't really call them that, but the same determination. It's not even every year, it's constantly like every Monday or in 2 weeks, I'm going to start this and I'm really going to get serious. But I'm just kind of sick of my own crap. I'm sick of the health issues that I have going on because of carrying the extra weight. I am tired of feeling like I'm addicted to sugar. We'll talk about that a little bit later. I'm just sick of the way I feel in my body, and I don't want to feel like that anymore. And so, another piece of this puzzle is that I have been a life and health coach for a long time. I think I started taking certifications in 2017, which is hilarious because it was just gaining me more info while I was doing nothing with my own body. So I was getting more education and I knew what to do. And I was going through all of these things, learning how to help other people, yet I wasn't helping myself. And so every time I would try to launch a coaching business, I would feel like I was not living in integrity because while I can help you for sure, I have the knowledge to help you and I have the personality to be able to lovingly call you out on all of these things that you say you want, but you're not doing. I wasn't living that. I wasn't embodying that. And so it constantly kept coming back to me that, you say all of these things and you're putting yourself out on social media, um, and doing all these things like I have it all together. And so, like I said, it just really felt like I don't know if it was imposter necessarily, but definitely that I wasn't living in integrity. And I'm like, how can I put myself out there and say all these things about weight loss when I know that people that know me in real life are going to see me and be like, why are you selling weight loss? Like, clearly you can't even conquer this mountain yourself. And so I I kept pushing through this and I would go back and forth. I was gonna do weight loss coaching because that is the stuff that lights me up. I love learning about nutrition and biohacking and all the different ways you can take care of your body. I love working out. That's one thing that I don't struggle with. I love to work out. I usually work out about 5 days a week. But it was the eating part that I struggled with. And until I started realizing how you think about things and the lies that we believe and how that floods into every area of your life which then a lot of times turns into emotional eating, which then turns into the weight gain or not being able to lose weight. As I learned about all these things, I felt like that's what I was supposed to be doing, was doing coaching. But then I would get into the cycle of feeling like I wasn't being in integrity, and so then I would go to general life coaching, and then um, things would always just come back to the health and wellness side. And to me, it was just so entangled. Like I couldn't pull them apart. And so, very long story short, I have been doing a lot of work on identity. And I know that's a hard thing to kind of explain until you're actually into it. And I will definitely be sharing exactly what I did and how those things changed me, how I saw lies I was living lies I was believing, different things I was believing about myself that were not true. All of these things was the start of my journey. And so one of the things that came out of that was being able to kind of have my own back, for lack of a better way to say it. And I'm not saying have my own back as like, I'm not trusting the Lord, I'm not walking with the Lord, I'm not following him. It's literally feeling that, like, him speaking to me and not recognizing it was him, but having these feelings of things that just wouldn't go away. And so for me, the one thing that I kept coming back to was helping women in health and wellness. And voices around me were so loud, and it was a matter of having to cut out what everybody else was saying, what the coaches were saying, what people on social media are saying, all the business coaches, and just coming back to what I felt the Lord was calling me to do. And that was absolutely to start a community where women can come in and walk this process out and learn the identity pieces that are keeping them stuck, the people pleasing and the doing things because you feel like you should, and because social media is telling you that you should, and things that you don't necessarily agree with or align with or want to do, but you're doing those things, and getting to the underlying root of why that's happening. And then we can move into the actual weight loss part. Um, all of the women that were in my group had asked for community. They wanted somebody to do this with. And they also struggled with the emotional eating side. And to deal with emotional eating, you really have to deal with what I would consider life coaching, with why you're eating because you're mad at your husband, or why you're turning to food because your boss was a jerk today, or your kids are out of control. Or for me, it was even because I was having a good day. Like, we even celebrate with food around here. So it was literally every feeling I could possibly be having would have me turning towards food. And so I wanted to help women with that. I wanted to build a community where, um, as far as coaching goes, it's on the lower end, as far as a fee, because I feel like coaching can get really out of control with what people are charging for that. And I just kept feeling this conviction that I needed to start this group. I needed to keep it a low cost of entry. Um, and so, even feeling so convicted on that, um, I was still figuring out my own stuff. But I had read somewhere, I believe, I can't remember how this came to pass, but it was basically somebody saying that, when we get saved, I can't remember the Bible verse, I should have written it down. But when we get saved, the Lord changes our heart of stone to a heart of flesh. And I've always struggled with knowing that the Lord is actually talking to me. And like, I have friends that'll be like, I know that I'm where the Lord wants me to be. Like, I know that He is telling me that this is what I'm supposed to be doing in life, or whatever that situation is. And I just never felt that. Like, I just want confirmation. And so we got talking about Him changing our heart of stone to a heart of flesh. And whatever this was, whether, I can't remember if it was a YouTube video or if I was just talking with a friend, however that came about, it was like an eye opener to me, that like inner knowing that we have, that intuition, if you want to call it that, that gut check, that thing that you just can't get away from. Um, if you're saved and you're walking with the Lord, that is Him talking to you. As long as obviously it doesn't go against the Bible or things like that. Um, but it was really hard for me because originally I was just like, I mean, not originally, but like for most of my life, I have been in a place where I'm like, I don't know, is it me or is it him? And how do I know for sure that, the Lord is telling me this? And there's a lot of people that'll say, if you don't feel like the Lord's really talking to you, go back and do what He told you to do before. And I'm like, how do I know that He really told me? And so when I stepped into that no, this is the Lord talking to me. Like, I'm walking with Him. I'm asking Him for guidance. I'm asking Him for wisdom. I had godly people in my circle that were basically confirming that I was hearing from Him, um, about this community and starting this community. It was like it took such a weight off me. I wasn't chasing how everybody else said to build a business. I wasn't chasing, um, them telling me that it needed to be high ticket and I needed to launch a certain way and I needed to do all these things. it just all came back to for years, I have felt this pull to do a low cost membership. And I want everybody that wants to be in here and wants to get help and wants to get coached and wants to be in a community and surrounded by women that are on the same path and that they don't feel weird because they're trying to do something different. I just wanted to create that space for women. But then I would come back to the same thing about, but you're not doing it yourself. And so that's when I got this idea, which I'm going to say is a God idea because it totally opened everything up for me, is that I would share my journey. And right now, my goal is to lose 100 pounds, which is so hard to say out loud. I know that people that I know personally and in real life are going to hear me say this, but that is what I want to do. And I feel like this is part of my accountability is putting that out there that I want to lose 100 pounds and we will see, how I feel. That's not written in stone. We'll see how I feel when I get closer to that. Whether I want to lose more, whether I don't need to go quite 100 pounds, whatever that looks like, I will judge by how I feel and how I feel in my clothes, how I feel in my energy and my sleep, and all of these longevity things. And once I added that to it, it changed everything. Like, I feel like the Lord has been pushing me on this since I started getting my certifications in 2017 and showing me that this is how I can help people. And I know for me, when I see people online that are at the finish line, sometimes it's really hard to think that they're not different. Sometimes it's really hard to look at them and think that I could actually get where they're at. And when I see people that are at the beginning, it's inspiring to me. Like they look like me, but they're doing this and they're sharing how they're doing that and how things are changing and what's not working even. It's not even all, with rose-colored glasses. They're also sharing what's not working and all these different things. And I'm like, I just want to share that with women that are in this walk with me. And so that's what I did. I started a membership. And if you want to check it out, you can go to NicoleYoungCoaching.com and I will also link it in the show notes below. And it's just going to tell you a little bit more about where my heart's at, what we're going to be doing in there, how things are different. And it's amazing already how different I feel going into this attempt at weight loss, how it's different than any other time that I've tried to do it, how I'm not falling into the same traps and the same lies and the things that trip me up. And it's not like it's perfect by any means. And I, again, will be sharing that, but it's definitely different. And I know that that identity piece that I started with is a huge piece of that. There was a long time that I would say, I don't understand how people bring their faith into their weight loss. Like, I don't understand why we need that. People lose weight all the time and don't, they're not a Christ follower or whatever. But now I'm seeing it's the identity piece because you can absolutely lose weight and still be miserable. People do it all the time. It's no different than making a ton of money and still being miserable. Like those things don't make you happy. That's not where you get your joy from. And those things, by not incorporating your faith into it, you also can let all of these outside things come in and completely sabotage you. And it's not necessarily the weight loss in and of itself that's hard. It's all these other things. It's all the tricks that your brain plays on you. It's all the lies that you believe. It's all of the outside influences that are not telling you the truth and they're not holding you accountable to tell the truth and to face hard things and to walk through them without having to numb yourself out. And so it's just so different this time. And so, like I said, I changed everything to 100 pounds down and I'm opening this community for women. There is also an opportunity to be able to be one-on-one coached with me or coach with me. So you can see all that at NicoleYoungCoaching.com. And I'm just going to keep showing up here. I'm going to keep showing up when I don't like the way I look. I'm going to keep showing up if technology fails. I'm just going to keep showing up because I feel like finally, for the first time, maybe ever, I truly feel like this is where God has me. This is where God is calling me. I feel that there's such a need for this because it's not about macros. It's not about counting calories. It's not about working out 5 days a week, which I do, but I love it. It's not about that. You have to get your mind in order and you have to be renewing your mind daily. And going back to the faith part, there's a lot of times that I see people try to mesh these together and all they end up doing is taking Bible verses out of context and kind of making it be more so like a what's the word I'm looking for? I don't know, I can't really think of the word I'm looking for, but kind of more like trying to guilt you into wanting to take care of your body and eating better and losing weight and all of those kind of things. And that's not what this is going to be. There is no judgment here. There is no you should be doing this, you should be doing that. Everybody is so different. And I don't care if you want to do keto. I don't care if you want to do paleo. I don't care if you want to do Whole30. I don't care if you still want to have a candy bar every day. Like, I don't care. There's different things that are going to work differently for every body, for every situation, for um every different thing that you walk through every day, different relationships. Like, everybody is going to have something different that works for them, and that's the important part, is finding the thing that works for you and something that you can do for the rest of your life. And if you could do these things for the rest of your life, you wouldn't be on that gain and lose cycle, or you wouldn't be where you run ahead with your hair on fire and then in 2 weeks you burn out because it's just too much. And that's something that I fell into a lot that I'll talk about more in another video. The black and white thinking and the all or nothing thinking, that was a struggle for me. And so there's just a lot that we're going to talk about, and it's going to be so vastly different than what the health and fitness world is telling us today. And it's going to point you back to Jesus. And we're going to live in the worth and the value that he gives us. And we're going to take responsibility, and we're going to tell the truth about what's going on and own our responsibility, or own the choices that we make, and all of these different things. And it's going to be hard, but there's also going to be so much to celebrate. And there's going to be so many different areas in your life where doing this for weight loss is going to bleed over into other parts of your life and be completely life changing. And I can confidently say that now because I'm far enough into the journey that I can see how it's different from other attempts at doing this. And it's amazing. The things that I have been learning are absolutely amazing. And I'm not, like I said, it's not always going to be easy, but with the right tools and making the decision that you're not going to give up, like, you're not going to be perfect. And there are times that you're going to fail something. There's times that you're going to eat something you didn't want to eat. There's times that you're going to maybe completely fall off the wagon. But getting right back on and having a community to reach out to that is there and willing to help you back up and to see what happened and what went wrong and discuss how to avoid that next time, that's going to be invaluable to your journey. And it's really hard to sometimes be around people that don't understand it, that don't understand why you want to do this. Don't understand why maybe you're eating organic produce. That's ridiculous. You don't need to eat organic. Or why you don't want your kids having certain foods, that they'll push back on that. And it just gets exhausting. And that's kind of where I found myself, is that every time I would want to make a change, I was surrounded by people that were kind of happy with the status quo and just kind of laughed off the little excuses that keep pulling us back into the same cycle. And I just decided that I'm not going to let that affect me anymore. And so, like I said at the beginning, like, me sharing this journey and what I'm changing, what I'm doing differently when I fall, when things are going well, how much weight I'm losing, where I'm at in the journey, all of those things are just another level of accountability for me to put myself out there and to do what I say I'm going to do. And I just started a new book, and I can't remember exactly what it's called, but it's basically about taking all of the nonsense out of your life. So nonsense can be one of 100 of different things, but a couple of them were people pleasing and self-sabotaging and all of these things that are just ridiculous. Like I started the video out with, like, there's no reason that I can't show up today. And so taking that nonsense out and committing that I'm going to show up, because that is how new Nicole operates. And it doesn't matter what old Nicole did, new Nicole shows up. And so that is what I'm going to do. And I'm excited for the community that I'm going to build here. And I'm excited for the community that I'm building over at Nicole Young Coaching. And I'm praying over you if this is something that you feel like you could benefit from and you're ready of the start and stop cycle, you're ready of saying you're going to do better tomorrow, like you're tired of all these things and you don't need another 21-day fix or another plan or another, strict way to eat or taking everything out. If you're tired of all that and you want to do it differently, come walk this out with me. The cost is less than a dinner out. And I promise you, it's going to be well worth it to be in there. Just the accountability alone is going to be worth the price. So, again, you can check that out in the description below. And I hope you have a great rest of your day. And I will talk to you again soon. Bye, everybody.